Hello guys and welcome back to DarkHorseFM, and in today's video I have a possession based tactic for you that goes on to rack up 68% possession on average on Football Manager 2023. Dynamo Kiev was a team that I tested this tactic out with, and we went on to have a high amount of possession. Varazdin, on the other hand, were the team that were predicted to finish last on the table. And looking at their media prediction in the Croatian League from the season preview, you can see Varazdin, although they were predicted to finish in last, they somehow had an upgrade up to 9th. So they went on to have the highest amount of possession, just as much as Dynamo Zagreb did, doing 55% possession, and then Dynamo Zagreb went on to have 68. Most goals in the league were scored by Dynamo Zagreb with 67. Varazdin are right up there as well. So for the team that was bottom in the league, they went on to outperform themselves using this possession-based tactic. I also went on to test out this tactic with a few teams, Ludogorets and Slavia Sofia in the Bulgarian League, and Ludogorets of course went on to win the league with the highest amount of points as well, highest amount of goal difference. Looking at their competition so far, they went on to have 66 goals, good, but possession 65% on average, and Slavia Sofia had a higher amount of possession than Varazdin in the Croatian League, and then they had 62% possession. So what is this tactic? So I brought my famous possession based "it's my ball" tactic from Football Manager 2022 to Football Manager 2023, and I went on to have good results with it as well. I'm looking to test it out with a bigger side, because I know that as much as or as big as these teams are, they are still bigger teams in Football Manager. But this is the tactic. It's a 4-3-3 with a super keeper on support, one ball playing defender and one central defender, one complete wing back on attack duty and a wing back on support. I have a DLP in the defensive midfield, and then a Metala and an advanced playmaker in central midfield, both players playing on support duty. And you have an inside forward on the left hand side on support, and an inside forward on the right hand side on attack, with a false 9 playing as the central striker. This tactic gave me a lot of success in FM 2022 with so much control of the ball and so much dominance that in FM 2023 I'm looking to use it for a long term, so it's actually suitable for a long term save as well. We'll look at the player instructions, and we're going to look at all the player roles and all the team instructions as well as to how this tactic ties up together. So the idea behind this tactic was to create a system that was possession based. As much as it was dominant in possession, there was a lot of vertical movement about the tactic as well. We're going to look at that in the team instructions, but starting with the player instructions, I opted for a super keeper on support duty, and he has also been instructed to play it shorter, not to try anything too fancy unless there's an opportunity for him to start a counter attack. The wing back on the left hand side, I opted for him to pass the shoulder as well. So they're going to notice that most of my players do have the pass the shoulder instruction assigned to them. The wing back on support has also been asked to cross towards the far post, shoot less often, close down more, tackle harder, and mark tighter. The complete wing back, on the other hand, is a complete wing back on attack duty. He's going to be a lot more adventurous because the inside forward here is on support, and he's going to cut inside and link up with the false 9 that is also on support. So we do need one guy here to be on attack. Pass it shorter, cross, aim at the far post as well to try and latch the ball onto the inside forward that is coming from the right hand side. Shoot less often, close down more, tackle harder, and mark tighter. The ball playing defender on defend duty has been asked to dribble less and then to shoot less often, not to venture too far forward and try to lose the ball, and to try his best to give the ball to, let me say, the advanced playmaker or the deep line playmaker or the Metala. All these three players here are quite technically gifted, so they are the ones that are going to be the ones to create chances. And the ball playing defender, he can loop a long ball, but he's not supposed to dribble that much into the 18-yard box or into the center of the field. The central defender on the right hand side has been asked to pass it shorter, and then the deep line playmaker on defend duty has been asked to pass it shorter, close down more, and tackle harder. His objective is just to be as a DM in this team, not to try to create too much. He's obviously going to protect the defense, but if the opportunity presents itself, he's going to also try that long vertical pass that can unlock the defense. You have a Bentala on support duty, and he has also been asked to pass it shorter, take more risks, shoot less often, close down more, tackle harder, and mark tighter. Your advanced playmaker on the left hand side has been asked to pass it shorter, close down more, tackle harder, and mark tighter. The inside forwards both have different instructions. They have been asked to, the player on the right has been asked to stay on attack duty, and he has been asked to pass it shorter, close down more, tackle harder, and mark tighter. Your inside forward on support duty on the left hand side is a bit more creative because you're going to be in the AM position somewhat, and then the advanced playmaker also going to be operating in that role. The inside forward and support duty has been asked to pass the short and run from positions, sit narrower, close down more, tackle harder and mark tighter. The false 9 has been asked to pass the shorter, shoot less often, run from positions, close down more and mark tighter. The general mentality for this tactic is positive because we want to be on the front foot as much as possible, but the in possession instruction, you'd notice that the team's tempo is left to standard. That's because I don't want them to be too passive when they're in possession of the ball. Normally I'm going to opt for a higher tempo, but I did enjoy playing it on the slightly lower tempo when I went on to use the tactic. The attacking width is fairly narrow and the team has also been instructed to play out of defense. The passing directness is much shorter because I want them to try to retain possession and control the games. You can also see that enforced with the sometimes time wasting instruction that has also been turned on. The passing to space instruction has also been instructed, so as much as they're trying to be slow about it, when the opportunity presents itself, the team is still going to try to hit the long ball when they find the space to do so. They've also been asked to play low crosses and walk the ball into the box while dribbling less and being more expressive with their creative freedom. In transition, counter press is quite important, so it works in this tactic as well. Counter in this sense is not like when you get the possession of the ball, there's going to be a space in your position's defense for you to break into. That's not the kind of counter we're working with here. This counter works with high pressing. So the idea is once you win the possession in the opposition's territory, because that is where your players are going to be camped most of the time, you see that in the out of possession instructions. Once you win possession of the ball, the moment you're inside the opposition's defensive third, you go on to try and score a goal, try and walk the ball into the box as quickly as possible. But if you can't, after the first few attempts, the players are going to go on to pass the ball amongst themselves because the shorter passing instruction has been selected. So as much as they're going to try to score the moment they win the ball back, if it doesn't work out, they're still going to hold on to position and try to recycle it and go on the attack again. For the goalkeeper, he has been instructed to take short kicks, distribute the ball to the fullbacks and to the centre backs. That's anybody in the back four. When the team is out of possession, you can see the high press has been selected and the high defensive line has also been selected. That way, once you win possession in the opposition's defensive third, you can go on to try and hit them on the counter. Not the fast counter that happens when there's a lot of space, but a counter that occurs the moment you win the ball as high up as here. You go on to hit a 1-2 pass and then try to get the goal as soon as possible. The trigger press is also much more often, but you have to work your way around this so that you remember that your players sometimes will get tired, so you need to have to find a way to manage your players, know when to drop off the trigger press mid-game and also towards the ending period of the game. The team has also been instructed to get stuck in. For offside traps and tight marking, those instructions are also embedded in the player instructions, so I didn't see a need to turn on anything in the defensive line, the pressing traps and the crossing engagements. Also, there are no set pieces attached to this tactic, so the tactic as it is, you can go on to use it the way it is, and then you can attach your own set pieces. If you have set pieces that go on to work for you, you can go on to attach them for yourself. I'm going to attach a link in the description so you can download the tactic and see how it works out for you and see the teams that you can go on to test out the tactic. You can experience high possession, beautiful tiki-taka football. Ludogorets do have a game against Slavia Sofia, so that's going to be a great opportunity to look at the tactic in real time. So this is the game between Ludogorets and Slavia Sofia. By the way, Sofia and Ludogorets are using the same tactic. Slavia went on to score first, and Ludogorets went on to equalize the game with a defense splitting pass. Ludogorets went on to take the lead at some point, just a few minutes after finding their equalizer. They went on to go ahead by 2-1. The second goal from Slavia Sofia is an interesting part. Look how the defender tends to lose possession and then the attacker goes on to press him instantly. That's how the counter press goes on to work. Ludogorets went on to win the game with the last goal just before the hour mark, and then that's how they went on to hold on to the lead and win the game 3-2. I'll catch you guys later with more Football Manager tactics like this. If you're new to the channel, remember to hit the subscribe button so you can get notified when those tactic videos do come out here on the channel. I'll see you later.